to the world stage. The legend of Rempe will never fade. Crank it louder, feel the heat. Barbecue anthems forever sweet. Get in the smoke.
Steve, the Cookout Coach, and you're listening to the Barbecue Central Show.
Start the game! Let's go!
We'll do it live. Okay. Well, do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live!
So to get that perfect barbecue, you use wood. Are you sure it's safe? Whatever. We put the lighter fluid on, strike your match, and... Oh! Should we call the fire department? That might be a good idea.
Welcome to the really big Barbecue Central Show. This is the show that talks about all things that are important to the world of barbecue and grilling. The show originates from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame city, Bomb City, USA, Cleveland, Ohio, the barbecue capital of the North Coast. I'm your program host, Greg Rempe. Happy to have you aboard here on your Tuesday evenings, a live fire, fun, and frivolity show. If you would like to get in contact with the show this evening, or you would like to follow the show during off-show hours, here's how you do it.
You can get in touch with the show by sending an email to Greg at bbqcentralshow.com. Follow us on all the social media channels at BBQ Central Show. And be sure to subscribe to the show podcast feed on your favorite podcast platform.
Anything else you want to find out about the show can be found at the main website, thebbqcentralshow.com. And here's what's happening on the show this evening. Coming up in about 12 minutes from now, he is a multiple-time guest. He is a marketing CEO. Some would say marketing genius. Some would say business savant. And others would call him the creator of the World Food Championships. I just call him Mike. We will be joined by Mike McCloud. Once again, leading the show, no less. So excited to talk to Mike. Then after Mike, it is the third Tuesday of a month. And that means only one thing. In the first hour, we have to have a visit with Wes Wright, cookoutnews.com. Did we miss Wes last month? Was he on business? Could he not make the trip happen? Then I somehow backfilled the segment. Things change so fast and so furious in this show. I can't remember even a month ago, let alone what happened 2 weeks ago. I feel like we did not have Wes. There's a very good chance that maybe we did, and I'm just not remembering it. But again, lots of things going on behind the scenes, always and often here on the show. That'll bring a close to the first hour. We move to the second hour, where we will find what you would think is a first-time guest, but indeed not. But he has had 8 years off in between appearances. Christoffel. Or, I should have asked him during the sound check. Christoffel? I think it might be Christoffel. It could be both, right? I mean, who knows? Christoffel. It's going to be very awkward now that I'm really in my head about it. Am I going to just say Coy from Pits and Spits? Am I going to say Coy Christoffel? Coy, am I correct or not? Is it Christoffel? Are we going to say Coy, either Christoffel or Christoffel? Which one is it? We turn it into a game show. We'll see how it goes over the next hour, and then we will come up with some kind of way to figure this out. But I should have, and I even had it in my note right here, make sure that you ask for the last name. But I didn't do it. Shame on me. And that will teach me a lesson going forward in life. Then closing the show, And for the second time in 2026, he is the first ever full-time barbecue editor anywhere on the face of the earth. But he is first and foremost from Ohio and Worcester, no less. But we will say Worcester. Daniel Vaughn is here. We're talking about beef, amongst other things. So very excited to have Daniel back on the show and chop it up for 15, 20 minutes. That's how the show's laying out. 14 past the first hour, Mike McCloud. 35 past the first hour, Wes Wright. Second hour, 14 past, Coy, Christoffel, or Christoffel, Pits and Spits. 35 past the second hour, DV, Daniel Vaughn, Texas Monthly, and his website, TMBBQ.com. Don't forget, you can follow me socially on Instagram and Twitter and TikTok, Snapchat, LinkedIn, all with the handle at BBQ Central Show. We also say good evening to those of you watching tonight through one of our video streaming platforms. You can go to facebook.com/BBQ Central Show to watch, or you can watch on YouTube, which is youtube.com/@BBQ Central Show, where we do have a new YouTube poll question of the week. It is written, it is posted, it has been voted on, and it sounds a little something like this. Would you rather have pizza rolls or pizza bagels? And currently it just changed. 60% of you are saying that you would like bagels. While I am a Totino's pizza roll guy at heart from being a Ute, I'm going pizza bagel as well on this one because I am older, I am educated, and my palate has broadened since I'm 12 years old. But we'll see how the rest of the guests vote on that and how you vote. Very quick, and it could change to a 50-50. Well, we're very close to a 50-50, I should say, 60-40 right now. And we'll start here tonight. Gang, I told you last week, literally, right after the Meathead segment, I looked into the camera and I said, and I quote, "Don't email me about Meathead's audio." And what do? You immediately open up your laptops or fire up the blowers, you crack your knuckles and or thumbs, and you send a barrage of emails talking about exactly that. I swear, some of you treat my directions the exact same way as some of my sales reps do at Peterbilt during the day. That's not funny. You listen to the words, filter them through a wall of pure apathy, and then you just do whatever the hell you want. So just this once, I am going to pull back the digital curtain and explain the inner workings of the audio realm. When it comes to Meathead, when it comes to Meathead, you have to pick your battles, number one. I was thrilled when he originally got a USB mic many years ago. I was then even more ecstatic when that one died and he actually went out and bought a new one. But we're missing the final frontier of basic audio engineering here, folks, and it's called headphones as it relates to Meathead. I tell every single guest, put the headphones on. Why? Not just so you can hear my beautiful dulcet tones, but because of a magical, futuristic invention called the self-monitor feature. It's a wild concept where the sound goes through the mic and directly into your ear holes, so you can actually hear what you sound like in real time. Now, why is that important? Because when you don't wear them and you start drifting away from the capsule, or you decide to start talking up the shaft of the microphone like you're going to interrogate it, you have no idea that your video is fading into the proverbial abyss. So while you, and especially me, are screaming at the screen like lunatics, going, "Meathead, move the microphone," or "Meathead, stop broadcasting from across the room. He has absolutely no clue. He's just living his best meathead life, completely oblivious, blissful in the silence. And trust me, during the pre-show sound checks, we go over the earbuds, we go over the placement, we go over all of it every single time. I'm doing the Lord's work behind the scenes, I promise you. But here's the truth. Meathead is an absolute legend. He's been coming on the show for over 15 years, delivering elite content all the while. I love him. I spent time with him outside the studio. He's met my wife. He's met my kids. He is an anchor in this industry, a phenomenal friend. And I am forever grateful for everything he has ever done for this show. So, perhaps in only this instance, he gets a pass, period. There is no bigger fan of Meathead than me on the planet. So can we just mutually agree, number one, when I tell you don't do something, don't just summarily do it, even though I said don't do that. But can we all agree from this Tuesday forward, we are just going to enjoy the wisdom that Meathead drops on us, regardless of whether it sounds like he's broadcasting from inside a submarine or not. I will keep fighting the good fight with him behind the scenes, rest assured. But maybe we can agree all on that as we draw the open to a proverbial close. I think I said proverbial twice. Hey, Mike McCloud is ready to go. Before we get to him, I will talk to you quickly about Primo Grills. Man, what do we love about ceramic cookers? They're fuel efficient. We love that you can achieve low and slow temperatures for traditional barbecue meats. We also love that you can get rip-roaring hot for the temperature or the high heat temperature grilling of steaks and other thin cuts. But what's missing in the everyday ceramic cooker lineup? The real ability to do true two-zone cooking. Two-zone cooking is very important to both professional and backyard cooks alike. It's the best way to manage a fire and cook with confidence. However, getting a two-zone fire in a round ceramic cooker isn't very realistic. Why? Because it's round. Enter Primo and the game-changing oval design. The shape gives you the ability to execute that two-zone setup that you desire, also giving you other ceramic grill benefits as well. Really, when you break it down, there's more than 60 different ways to configure the Primo cooker, so you're only limited by your culinary imagination. Sold through dealers, so find one near you. Easiest way, go to primogrill.com and use the dealer locator. Here's the bottom line. Best ceramics in the biz? Yes. Patented technology? Yes. True two-zone cooking capabilities with multiple sizes of ovals? Yes. And yes. Don't waste another daggone moment. Primogrill.com and then to the ovals you go. Might I recommend an extra large minimum? If you have the cash, go double XL. You might cry as you're checking out, but you will never cry again. What do we say in barbecue? Buy the best and only cry once. All right, Mike McCloud is coming up next. Stick around. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show. Broadcasting live from the Barbecue Central Show studios in Cleveland, Ohio. You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
welcome back. Gang, I don't recall the last time we were able to land my first guest tonight so quickly since his last appearance at the end of April. You know him as the guy who birthed the World Food Championship. Some of you might even remember him from the MMA Creative / KCBS days. But certainly we all know him as the Barbecue Central Show's guest Hall of Famer. Happy to welcome back our pal, Mike McCloud. Hey, Mike.
Mr. Greg.
We have a YouTube poll question of the week. Great to see you, as always. Would you rather have pizza rolls or pizza bagels?
Well, I've never had pizza bagels, so I think I'd opt for bagels just to try it out.
Yes, all right. Well, it has quickly changed. So for the whole open, it was bagels right around 60-40, and it has literally reversed itself. Now pizza rolls are 64% of the YouTube voting public. So always appreciate your insight on these stupid questions to lead the segment. All right, coming to the end of 2026's version of the Famous Dave's All-Star Barbecue Challenge. This concludes at the end of the month. So before I ask about the overall feedback that you might be getting from Famous Dave's, you've been to one of these events this year. How do you, or would you, define success? And perhaps more importantly, what do you find inspiring about these events and teams?
So success would be measured by how happy Dave Anderson is when he sees the turn-ins, number one. And secondly, it would be based on how operationally smooth we can perform the event without getting in the way of the operators at each one of the locations. They all have a tough job and a great job, and they're great at what they do. So our role is to come in there and roll up a barbecue in the parking lot event, do it without interfering with their lunch crowd, and get it done before their dinner crowd, and introduce people to new pit masters across the country. So that's the primary objective, and so far so good this year. We've found some new teams and some new talent out there that's going to make their way to the World Food Championships, and we have actually discovered some great new dishes that the Famous Dave's Corporation is looking at to determine, can we put this on the menu, and if so, what do we need to change about it? So it's a fantastic series for numerous reasons. One, connecting the dots for competition barbecue and commercial barbecue. Two, because Dave is so gung-ho about celebrating the pit masters out there in the world that you and I talk to day in and day out, and making sure that some of them have an opportunity to have a big break like he did. So I love that aspect. And three, it's good for food sport. It's good for people to understand how to connect, how to enjoy what the aficionados in our industry can accomplish with some heat and some meat. And so I like all aspects of it.
When you look at it operationally, you do some really large events. You've done really large tours over the year. If we look back at the Sam's Club, how does this fit into how operationally difficult or easy compared to some of the other things you have experience with?
It's a smaller, but it's a repetitive process, and it actually works fairly well. And we roll it out consistently as long as we are prepared, as long as we do all of the preparation up front. And I don't think most organizers out there, well, you take one-off organizers, someone who runs a competition once a year, and it's a big moment, right? It's a big weekend for them and their community. People who've been through that, when you ask them, could you do this 8 times in a row over the course of 2.5 months? I think most of them would say no. That's insane. So what we had to learn, and this goes all the way back to the Sam's Club barbecue days that you referenced, and even before then, the Great American Barbecue Tour, which we did for KCBS.
Yep.
We had to learn how to major in the majors, minor in the minors, and develop a protocol that was repeatable, scalable, and even though it's going to be fallible, we aim for infallibility every time. And the famous Dave's program, now in its fourth year, is a good example of that. I think we've kind of, knock on wood, we've kind of perfected the process, which means we'll probably looking into next year, we'll probably push the envelope some more and see how we can try to make it better and bring some new wrinkles to the table. But I think it's one of the best examples of what passionate individuals in a corporation that cares about barbecue can do for the food sport industry.
Could this be a tournament of down the road 20 teams at each event, or do you really have to be cognizant of getting through the lunch, having this thing between a lunch and a dinner crowd and keeping it as close to barbecue as you can, but not also requiring a 10, 12-hour brisket cook?
This one would be tough to do with 20 teams, and primarily because of the space restrictions. Each one of the restaurants are tucked into a location that gives them X amount of parking spots, and when you do a barbecue contest, everyone who knows who does that, it's kind of a land grab situation. You've got to create a big swath of movement and space for the teams. You can start out trying to contain everyone to a 10 by 20, but as we all know, every team turns that into a 20 by 40 before they're done. So it's kind of tough to see this one scaling up to 20 teams or more. What I think we're probably going to see is probably layers of barbecue contests in the future, where, as you know, we've been experimenting with this same concept with Walmart. They obviously have bigger parking lots, but still they're very concerned about their customers being able to have easy access, ingress, egress to the retail shopping experience. So they're limited. We're doing one in Austin next weekend, and I think this will be the largest one we've done so far. We've done 3 teams, we've done 5 teams, and now we're about to do 10 teams in Austin. And we're starting to push the uncomfortable level with 10 teams. So I think what's going to happen eventually, if we ever get back to the days of doing a national barbecue tournament like the Sam's Club barbecue tournament was, I think you're going to see layering. I think you're going to see that a Famous Dave's may do, let's call it junior barbecue. A Walmart might do the professionals. A Sam's Club might do live fire. I think you'll see layers of competition and an opportunity for people to plug into one of those environments based on their desires and their experiences. That's kind of what I hope happens and see happening at the moment.
Do you think that there could be some version of that mythical Sam's Club tour? Like, is there a demand for that really anymore?
That's a great question. On the barbecue team front, I would love to have a poll that kind of addresses that, to see how many teams would enter a tournament. When we did that, there were 600 team slots. We had 25 local competitions, then 5 regionals, and then the national. And I feel like just looking at the numbers and not really doing the homework and the research like I used to, but I kind of feel like barbecue might have peaked prior to now. Let's just say, things are moving in different directions now. You have rib competitions, you have live fire taking off, steak has come, and has it peaked. I don't know if there are that many competition barbecue teams that would plug into a tournament of that size anymore to do it the way we did back then. If there was, I do think that we could get the sponsor and supplier community to participate. It's going to take a whole new pitch and a whole new proposition to either the Sam's Club, the Walmarts, the big box retailers out there that exist, to show them the ROI and the metrics behind it. But once they get behind it, the money's there. The brands are there. The question is who's going to aggregate it and stand behind it and provide the ROI that everybody wants. We used to be in that position, and we are in various aspects now with some of our clients. We don't have a request at the moment to do it on that scale, but it's constantly on my mind, and I do think that if life ever slows down a little bit, that I'm going to probably make one more run at a big tournament like that.
I feel like, and this is going to sound really old of me, whenever I see somebody reference it on social media, there is this reverence that follows it with 10 or 15 or 20 other posts. That was the best. Those were the days. All the nostalgia type posts you get from people that took part in it. My biggest concern when we were in the midst of whatever the barbecue golden era was, as you referenced, there were maybe not a lot of people, but there were certainly a smaller percentage of real loudmouth assholes that would get on social media and not do the group as a whole a service when you have brands and people pumping money into this thing because you have given them the ROI on it and why this is a good idea, all that stuff. And then, heaven forbid, they go on social media and hear some of these guys shooting their mouth off and basically shooting themselves in the foot. And I wonder, when you look at that, was there a portion of those big names bringing the money that they're like, hey, we were all for this, but these guys kind of chased us away from this?
So you hit a nail on the head. I think part of the challenge today is just how ubiquitous and how loud social media can become, and how sensitive brands are to it. Right? Brands are they're so in fear of getting canceled or so in fear of offending people. I mean, look at the America 250 experience that's going on, and there's pressure on major artists to not perform because people don't like the president that we have now or whatever. It's very unfortunate that social media and random criticism or partisan criticism can kill big concepts. That's not what killed Sam's Club National Barbecue Tour, though. We were on the front end of all that. We just kind of run a cycle. We did it for 7 years, and it kept getting bigger and better and tighter. And then leadership changes at a major corporation like Sam's Club, which happens a lot. People come in with new ideas of what marketing dollars should be spent on, and that's really what made things go in a different direction at the time. And but to your point, let's take the Barbecue World Cup, which I don't know a whole lot about, and I can't speak on behalf. I know that there's lots of buzz about that, and I hope that is a successful situation because a rising tide is good for everyone. I was one of the very first people that that preached about the rising tide, right? And why KCBS would take a Great American Barbecue tour to Memphis in May when Memphis in May is not sanctioned by KCBS. I was the one guy in the room who was trying to tell people, if it's good for us, it's good for them, it's good for everyone. So back to the Barbecue World Cup. If that's successful, and they're able to deliver on their promises, then that's going to be great. But gosh, they fall short on one aspect. I mean, Katie, bar the door.
Yeah.
You don't have your judging tight as a drum. You don't have sponsors writing checks at the right moment. You don't have a venue that's open and willing and has access points. And good Lord, if you don't have enough porta potties, I mean, there's so many things that people can complain about. And if for one of those things catches fire, it can kill the momentum of something really, really quick. And that is the dangerous moment right now. Even with a series as tight and as operationally efficient as the Famous Dave series, if for some reason customers started complaining and saying, I don't eat at Famous Dave's anymore because there's a bunch of barbecue teams in the parking lot. I mean, that becomes something that the marketing director at Famous Dave's has to defend and discuss at the C-level suite. And so we constantly are trying to make sure everyone's experience is positive and that everybody walks away with a fair shake, no matter if they win, lose, or draw on the competition side. And if they're consumers, they had a great experience and feel like they got something unique from the moment, and they don't walk away saying, I'll never go back to that again. So you're hitting the nail on the head when you ask that question, because it's something that all promoters and all series, all events have to think about.
I'd chase down the Barbecue World Cup rabbit hole, but we can save that for another day here.
Sure.
A couple minutes left.
And you know more about it than I do.
All right, I'm gonna rein it in. So, World Food Championship coming, obviously in October. Still, any new developments since a couple months ago when we had you on, or anything that we can look forward to?
Yeah, we have several new things that we're doing right now to expand the experience for competitors and extend their stay, from Burger Battle to Dessert Smash to our Stars and Stripes Showdown. And something that's coming that's going to be, we're just super excited about. We're launching the very first culinary combine at this year's event. We're literally going to put chefs through a 10-task environment, time them with chefferees, and they're going to have to prove that they're the best at spatchcocking a chicken, or peeling the membrane off a rack of ribs, or dicing onions, and doing all these different exercises that matter to the chef industry. We think it's going to be a lightning rod food sport moment, and we're launching it this year, and we may have a celebrity host jumping on board behind it. So we're very excited about that. Very, very excited about being in Indianapolis for the third year. We know where all the hurdles are, all the potholes are, and we think this year is going to be the best experience yet.
Could you see moving out of Indianapolis in the next couple of years?
Man, I can see a lot of things.
Is there a better place than Indy for this?
Not at the moment. We feel really good about the relationship there. We feel really good about the venue, and it would take a lot to get us off of the sweet spot that we have found. I honestly, I would like to see Indianapolis be a long-term home for us. I think a lot of that's going to depend on how the consumer interactions and the consumer ticket sales are this year. We're off to a good start already. We're ahead of last year's curve. We think that we have fixed or found some of the formulas that are going to make us very happy and make us efficient, make us effective, and make us profitable in Indianapolis. So it'd be hard pressed to get away from that.
We are pointing to October, but in the meantime, we'll see Mike McCloud here show up a few more times. Mike, always appreciate the insight and the candor, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Always a pleasure. Thanks a lot, Greg.
Mike McCloud right there. World Food Championships. And love when we do a little rehash of the old days and what it was like before World Food Championships before they came about. Wes Wright is in the green room. We'll get to him here in just 1 second. Before we do that, the show is proudly sponsored by our pals over at Fireboard. Innovators behind the Fireboard 2, the Fireboard Pro, the Fireboard Spark, the Fireboard Beacon, and the wireless Fireboard Pulse. Experience total control over all of your devices from anywhere in the world when you're using the Fireboard app. Discover more by visiting fireboard.com or call 816-945-2232. That's 816-945-2232 today. And who knows, maybe Ted Conrad himself will answer the phone and fill your order or answer your questions, or both. You can order and ask questions if you want. Good folks over at Fireboard. Wes Wright is next. Stick around.
You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show. Stern, Jim Rome, Dan Patrick, and Greg Rempe. The Mountain Rushmore of talk show entertainment. Now, let's get back to the Barbecue Central Show.
Hey, we thank Mike McCloud for joining us last segment, worldfoodchampionships.com, his website. My next guest tonight runs the cookoutnews.com website. A Barbecue Central Show's guest Hall of Famer. And the show's official barbecue business watcher, whether he knows that or not. We welcome back our pal Wes Wright to the show. Did we miss you last month, Wes? Am I correct in that?
Yeah, I was traveling to Cleveland, so just not to see
right.
you. I was in Cleveland.
No big high-level Barbecue Central Show, cookoutnews.com conferences, agendas, and or otherwise. Like, what was the best part of Cleveland besides leaving it?
It had some neat areas. I drove through some old area with old houses that were really pretty and all done up and nice, and just kind of like mid-century, really nice.
Where were you?
I think there was like graduations or conferences going on, so I stayed by a university there. I'm trying to think, Case Western, and then I drove from there to Beechwood and went through like some old, I don't know, really expensive houses.
Did you happen to you stayed downtown, so did you go to the Jolly Scholar on Case Western Reserve's campus?
No, I literally drove in, had dinner, and then drove out the next morning.
Where'd you eat for dinner?
I can't remember the name of the place. It was in that Beechwood little shopping area they have there, but it was decent food.
Good. Is that the one where the Apple store is and a whole bunch of other shit?
Yeah, there's like a Whole Foods and a First Watch and every chain store you can think of is there too.
Good. All right. Well, only 10 minutes away from me, so I'm sure you felt the pull to go north before you headed east. A bunch of stuff to get to this evening, and let's start with Weber. By the way, for everybody that was wondering, I have been in deep communication with my best pal, Roger Daly, CEO of Weber. So we're working on getting him booked on the show so we can grill him. Because he was supposed to be on the show a year ago, and things were going to be happening not so quickly, but definitely before the summertime. And then all of a sudden the year ended, and then there was no Roger, and there was still a whole bunch of questions to go answered here. So hopefully here within, let's say the next month or two, we land Roger. So I'll give you the date for that so you can listen in and then write a scoop story for cookoutnews.com. They've introduced the Santa Maria style grill, not released or not available for sale, but they have trotted it out. And what do you know about it? And do you have any idea when in 2027 we might actually be able to purchase it?
Yeah, I don't know when they'll release it, but Weber seems to do it really early spring, late, winter, like February-ish is usually when they seem to release their grills. They're going to have two of them, one for $8.99, which looks about the size as the Blackstone model, and then a larger one for $12.99. They introduced it at Memphis in May, and they were cooking and competing there, I believe. And the Weber version looks a little more upscale, nice, refined, has a couple of cool little features on it. So yeah, it's interesting because it's, you talked about them just this merging recently. And to me, this seems like the first product where they're sharing platforms across the different companies. And what I think is interesting is they have, the cheapest model is Blackstone, then Weber has the more expensive ones. Do you think that's going to be their strategy on the go forward with any grills like that?
Weber being the luxury brand and Blackstone being the everyday ham and egger brand?
Yeah, Blackstone being the Chevy and Weber being the GM.
Here's what I think. Wildly unpopular opinion, and everybody laughs at me when I say it. I still believe within 5 years or less, one of those names is going away. They're not going to keep both brands. And I think, so let's say they stay with Weber. I think Weber is ubiquitous with live fire across all cookers and platforms and all that stuff. Blackstone, certainly a big name, but I think between the two, well, let me ask you, if you were shopping for a brand name, in this industry, would you pick Weber or would you pick Blackstone?
Weber definitely has more of that brand feel you get when you think about it. So, definitely I'd pick Weber.
So I could see there becoming a suck up of one of the brand names. So let's say Blackstone falls off. So I can see Blackstone now becoming the Weber Spirit line of flat tops or, however they would eventually integrate that. I do appreciate the fact that they have stayed this long with both brands and been able to do a pretty good job. I think people that don't follow the industry like us have no idea that those two actually merged together, and they have no idea that they think they're still both separate and potentially competing companies, and they're none the wiser. And until some type of a name drop happens, they can probably live like that for as long as they want to. But I think from a branding perspective, well, you could look at it as saying, hey, like I always say, I would never quit my day job to do the podcast because I like money, and if I can make all of the money between the two, why would I leave one to just have income on the other? Perhaps Roger is thinking the same thing. Why not take all the money from both when I can? And if there starts to be a drop off in some form or fashion, then you can start to look at bringing in probably a lead question that I'll ask Roger when he comes on the show is, how long are we going to run this gimmick of running both lines?
Yeah, I think the only place they'd run into difficulty is just with specifically griddles, because people, they say I'm getting a Blackstone for I'm getting a griddle. So they'd have trouble with that brand because do people prefer a Weber griddle to a Blackstone griddle, even if it's superior in some ways?
Pre-season griddle top.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
I would never buy another Blackstone in my life only because of that. Now, that's not hurting Weber, of course.
Right.
Well, as soon as so here's what I think. If they can get that shared engineering portion where you have the preseason griddle grade going on a Blackstone, you could easily see that name drop happen a lot quicker, I think.
Yeah, it's possible. And what do you think in, let's say 5-10 years, the grilling industry gets back to kind of normalcy and not where we're at right now? Does Weber Blackstone IPO again? Much bigger company now, and they probably took on some money to combine the companies.
By the
Someone's
way,
looking for an exit.
By the way, Roger Daly looked to go public What was it? With a SPAC thing or whatever the hell it's called. Yeah, so I think you got a guy running the ship that thought about going public anyway. It certainly wouldn't surprise me in the next 5 to 10, but I think also if you look at some of the public grilling companies out there, kind of sucking ass anyway. Some have dumped altogether. Other ones, had to do a reverse stock split, as we had talked about. So while that per share price looks real sexy now, make sure you do your due diligence and realize how that price got there over the last number of months and what happened over the last number of years to get to that split. So it wouldn't surprise me, but perhaps Roger's a little bit more of a savvy business guy and realizing, hey, seemed like a good idea. Maybe we don't want to go public. We want to hold on to it in this way. Do you know them to still be heavily leveraged and all that fun stuff as well, or is that cleaned up a bit?
I don't know. I just imagine when they merged, they probably had to pay off some ownership. So, they got that money somewhere, and usually people are looking for a return. So that's all it's just intuition on my part.
Circling back to the open fire cooking. So Blackstone has one, Weber has one at the same Memphis in May. I believe Yoder was also showcasing a Santa Maria style grill as well. Do you believe that this is a sector of the industry that is in real long-term growth? We probably kind of talked about this a couple months ago. Or do you just see this as, I want to say a fad, but there is a smaller percentage of us that would consider buying this, where the majority of people go, hey, it looks fun to cook on, never actually going to do that?
I think right now they probably have some good growth ahead of them with that. Long term you need to take away some dollars from traditional charcoal kettles or get people to buy in on using them that way. But there seems to be a ton of interest for it, like between the ones released and then, that Blackstone model, I don't even think you can really buy. They released it and sold out instantly. And then, they sent me one that I had fun cooking on, and I have a little tiny YouTube channel I'm having fun with that I launched a couple months ago. And, so my video, I have like 86 subscribers and a couple thousand views on most videos. My one on the Santa Maria has like 25,000 views. So
really?
people are interested in that grill,
Do you like cooking on it?
I think it's fun. I don't cook on it like the way you're supposed to, where you use like firewood and I'd load it up with charcoal and have fun with it that way. But I was pretty amazed by its heat retention. It looks like it would just leak right out, but it actually was surprisingly didn't need that much charcoal.
You ever heard of the poultry?
I looked it up when you had the guy on your show, right? A month or so ago. I looked it up then, so I saw some promo videos for it.
Any thoughts?
I think it's interesting. It's.
Do you want one?
I already have like a, rotisserie and a beer can chicken holder ceramic.
But it's neither. So. It is a non-rotisserie and a non-beer can chicken. It's a rod that goes up the whole bird. Hot rod.
Yeah. But doesn't it essentially do the same as I guess either?
Well, the guy Poultry agrees with Meathead, although he finds Meathead to be a pretentious jerk. He does agree with Meathead in the fact that you should not be shoving up a cylinder in the bird carcass that has any kind of liquid in it, because you have a potentially unsafe cooking environment, and you're basically stalling the heat so you're blocking it from going inside the cavity and perhaps cooking it a little bit quicker, but you're also insulating it. Water's not going to get hotter than 212 degrees when it boils, so the inside of that chicken or turkey, if you're jamming something up there, isn't going to get hotter than 212 degrees anyway, so you're maybe even slowing down the cooking process. I really loved beer can chicken when Steven Reichlin first did it on PBS when I lived in Euclid 100 years ago, when I first started getting into it, early 2000s, let's say. But quickly, graduated out of that as soon as I found spatchcocking. That was the only way to cook chicken for me. I did cook 2 poultry birds a couple weeks ago. And while I don't know if the guy oversold me on how quickly it was going to take. He's like, run the cooker at 425. I believe he told me he did like a 16-pound turkey in 3 hours. And my 3-pound chicken fryer took all of 1 hour. Now, I'm no mathematician, but I don't know if the math meets up there or not, or if the convection in my Traeger 850 wasn't on point, or it's just old, whatever. All that being said, did it work exactly like it said it was going to work? Yes. I mean, there's not too much to it, right? You jam the carcass on the hot rod and away it goes. All that being said, wildly delicious. Delicious. Skin was on point. Meat was juicy. The dark meat parts hanging lower than the chicken chest, all that fun stuff. Had a lot of fun doing the stupid video and making it sound sexual while we were shooting it. But all in all, was a great end product. I just feel like you look at it and you're like, almost like the Turbo Truster guys. Now, they had Kevin O'Leary buy in to the Turbo Truster. I don't think this guy is interested in taking it to Shark Tank. But it just, you look at it and I'm like, it's just not, no offense to anybody. It's just not, like you eat with your eyes first. There's nothing that jumps out and you're like, fuck, that's cool. I got to have it. You're like, what the fuck is that? I don't know if I want that.
If you had no chicken cooking devices and you bought that one, I don't think you'd be just disappointed, right?
No, right.
But is that the one you're going to pick out amongst all the others? I don't know.
Yeah. I think here's the other thing with this guy, and I know he's working on it. And by the way, if you have someone, a pal, whatever, that does cast iron skillets manufacturing in China, you need to reach out to the guy at Poultry. I know for a fact he's looking for a source. Thought I might have had one for him, but I end up do not having one for him. But once he could get the right pan and get that teardrop in the handle thing worked out, I know he sends a reamer with it and all that stuff, but you're betting on the American public exerting even 1 ounce of effort in trying to make a great cooking device. If he could get that aced and everything sells as the set, I think sales and goodwill and good feeling increase 200% right off the rip. And he might have something that he could sell or license to, a bunch of different people. How does licensing work?
You got to reach out to them and work with them and have the right margin profile that you can afford that, I guess.
Like I would? I'd be like, hey, I want to license it, and then he makes them and I sell them? Or do I have to make it, or what?
No, he would. Well, I guess licensing specifically is, he gives you the brand name and you would sell. But white labeling, on the other hand, you could have a Barbecue Central show, poultry, whatever you want to call it. Huh. He makes them, you slap your brand on it, and you're off to the races.
Do we want to do that?
I don't think I'm jumping in on
it's a group effort here, Wes. It's me and you. I think we were going to do something last show, but we're definitely not getting into the poultry business. Oklahoma Joe, before I let you go, released a couple new grills, some charcoal grills and an offset cooker. What can you tell me about the offset? Or I'm sorry, what can you tell me about the charcoal cookers?
Yeah, they came with 2 charcoal ones, but they're all kind of permutations of that offset, I guess. But the one that is exclusively at Home Depot, what's nice about it is it's a barrel style cooker with a removable ashtray inside, and then also there's a handle on the front so you can raise and lower the charcoal level like to your cooking grates. And that whole new line, that Laredo line, is all priced pretty cheap for what you get. It's a few $100, something like that.
Then there's the offset cooker. Should I take a beat instead of just wanting to shit all over it? Because I look at it and then I look at the firebox and I think there's no way a traditional wood split is even going to fit in that. And if you jam it in there, quarter of it or half of it is probably going to be sticking out. Who is this geared towards? And is it really an offset charcoal cooker?
Yeah, I'd say it's more an offset charcoal cooker. They might even recommend you use charcoal in it. I thought I remember reading that, but yeah, you'd have a hard time. You'd have to use wood chunks in there. You couldn't use whole splits by any means, but with charcoal, you'd be okay with it.
What do you think material-wise? Good build for price?
Yeah, for the price, I mean, it's a pretty cheap offset. I forget what it is, maybe $400, $400, something like that. So, it's that entry level, your first offset. Maybe throw some heat bricks in there or something like that to help maintain temps, and it's something to start out on.
Anything you're working on we should be ready to read over at cookoutnews.com?
I can't think of too many like amazing stories right now, not to undersell my website, but I got some reviews coming out, and then I started working with Wildfire Grills too. They have a new grill coming out that's pretty neat that I should be able to test in the near future as well. So WYLDE. No E, just wildfires burning.
Did they have
outside.
the one that was on the rod that moved up and down, or did they have like an art flame looking thing, wildfire cooker?
I don't think so.
They're way off.
No, they make grills for like outdoor kitchens, premium grills for outdoor kitchens. But they have one that they're releasing that's gonna have a lot of nice features for a little bit cheaper than some of their other ones.
We didn't do this at the open, so let's do it now. As we close the show with the Would You Rather YouTube poll question of the week. Wes, we're asking everybody, including all guests, would you rather have pizza rolls or pizza bagels?
Oh, pizza bagels for sure.
Bagels, all right. I hate to say this, Wes, but only 44% of the YouTube voting public is saying pizza bagels. So 56% is saying pizza rolls, and maybe they're my age and they're hearkening back on Totino's pizza rolls in a drunken state, perhaps during a college rollback from uptown. I mean, who knows what's going on. At the beginning of the show was exactly the opposite. It was like 60% bagel, 40% roll, but oh, how the tides have changed. Wes, always appreciate the time, my man, and we will see you in July.
Thanks, Greg.
You got it. Wes Wright. Right there. Extra drum roll on the way out. How about that? That's how much we like Wes. So great information as always. And if you are not somebody who is currently subscribing to his website, shame on you. Get on over there, cookoutnews.com. There are free articles that you can read, but a lot of the business one is hidden behind the subscribe wall. I would recommend doing that, especially if you're somebody like me who enjoys reading about the business of anything and everything. Plus, you get a lot of great insider notes, tips, hot takes, predictions. Very inexpensive when you look at the grand scheme of things here. Also, don't forget to sign up for the cookoutnews.com refuel, which comes out every week, and this is the newsletter. All right, we will wrap the first hour, so stick around and we'll be right back.
Continuing to produce incredibly mediocre content in an exceptionally professional way. You're listening and watching the Barbecue Central Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
And we thank Wes Wright from cookoutnews.com for joining us last segment. David Ewell writing in via the instant chat. Poultry used 3 times since I received it. Excellent results. Best whole chicken cook in years. Years? So don't just listen to me. I'm telling you, it was great results. David Ewell also writing in, I had to use the reamer to take out about 1/32 of material in the tear trap. David, 1/32 of material? Uh-oh. I don't even know what that is. Is that a lot? 1/32 of material. The question is, David, if this is the handle And this is the pan part where the teardrop is back here. Did you go all the way out towards the edge of the handle part of the teardrop and then ream up? Or was it somewhere floating in the middle of that? We got to know. All right, we are pointing to the second hour. Refresh your libations. Stick around. We'll be right back.